Hey, welcome back to our Gaining Ground series. And we just talked about in our last video about the crucifixion of Christ and the importance and then the burial, how Joseph of Arimathea came and begged the body of Jesus from Pilate and took the body and laid it in his tomb. So Jesus was crucified and he was buried, and now we come to the wonderful resurrection of Christ. If you go to Matthew chapter 28 and verse number 1, Matthew 28 and verse number 1, it says, "In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven, and came and rolled back the stone from the door, and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him the keepers did shake, and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the women, Fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Jesus, which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come, see the place where the Lord lay, and go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead, and behold, he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall ye see him. Lo, I have told you." Wow. So these ladies coming to prepare and take care of the body, they come and see, wow, he's not there. The stone has been rolled away. He is risen, as he said. And so we see here that Jesus raises from the dead. And um, there's other areas in the Gospels where I would encourage you to read. If you want a good timeline of the resurrection day and everything that happened up until that point, and even after, John 20 is very good. But I want to go to Luke 24. My focus in this video is not to necessarily take you through the order of it, although that's important. And just quickly, they go tell the disciples, and Peter outruns John, and then John outruns Peter, but Peter goes in the sepulcher and all of that. That's in John chapter 20. But I want to see the importance of the bodily resurrection here. So in Luke chapter 24, in verse 36, it says, "And as they thus spake, Jesus himself stood in the midst of them, and saith unto them, Peace be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted, and supposed that they had seen a spirit. And he said unto them, Why are you troubled? And why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me, and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones, as ye see me have. And when he had thus spoken, he showed them his hands and his feet." Wow, tremendous. So obviously, yes, if you're a disciple and you're speaking and then all of a sudden Jesus appears in the room, you're going to be terrified. Are we seeing a ghost? Are we seeing a spirit here? And Jesus just confirms, no, listen, it's me. I have flesh and bones. So here is Jesus in his glorified body, which we will all receive one day if we're saved. And so then he shows them his hands and his feet. In verse 41 it says, "And while they yet believed not for joy, and wondered, he said unto them, Have ye here any meat? And they gave him a piece of a broiled fish and of an honeycomb, and he took it and did eat before them." Wow. Wow. So not only that, but he also ate with them. And then there's another passage, we'll probably go to that maybe in John chapter 20, 21, where he's eating fish with them on the shore and spending some time with them, showing himself again once again to them. But man, it's really neat to see that it just wasn't a spiritual resurrection. He didn't come as this glowing spiritual being. No, it was Jesus himself in the flesh. I should say in the glorified flesh. I don't know how all of that works, but I just take the Bible as it says, is that he showed them his hand and his feet. It was him. and that he ate before them. Very important to understand. He says in verse 44, then he said unto them, these are the words which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. And so he caps it off by saying, listen, it's all being fulfilled, which was written of me back in the Old Testament. Remember when we saw him in the Old Testament? Remember we saw him written when we saw some of the prophecies of him in the Old Testament concerning him. So again, I'm saying all this to help us understand. We have the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ now. And all of this is to fulfill that which was written about him in the prophets, in the law of Moses, in the Psalms. And so let's do that real quick. Let's go through some of these things. In Genesis chapter 3, we start in the law of Moses. Genesis 3, the first quote unquote prophecy, I guess you could say. I mean, we see Jesus even in creation, but really that plan of God in Genesis 3, verse 15. The first time we see this, it says, Genesis 3, verse 15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So this serpent will bruise the head of Jesus, but he's going to bruise his heel. Or I'm sorry. It shall bruise the head of the serpent, but thou shalt bruise his heel. And speaking of that picture there of crucifixion, let's go to Isaiah. So we saw the law of Moses, and then in the prophets, Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53. Excuse me if I'm not explaining myself um, correctly, or I'm trying to hurry through this. I'm trying my best not to, but I also want to keep it short into one video here. Forgive me. Isaiah 53, verse 3 says, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. Wow. Remember we talked about last video when he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? That was at that point he laid on him the iniquity of us all. Wow. So we see the law of Moses. We see the prophets. Let's go to the Psalms concerning me, Jesus said. Psalm 22. Psalm 22. I had mentioned this last video, and we see this in the Psalms, some of the one of the sayings on the cross. Psalm 22, verse 1. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me, and from the words of my roaring? Wow. And then verse 16, for dogs have compassed me, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. Wow. Wow. So the Psalms concerning him. And then Psalm 16. Psalm 16, our last verse here on this. It says in verse 8, I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoiceth. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One, capital H, capital O, to see corruption. So David prophesying about the resurrection of Christ. He's not going to let him see corruption. He's going to raise again from the dead. So there's the resurrection of Christ. Again, I would encourage you to just go to the end of each gospel and read those accounts to kind of get the timeline of those. But I wanted to focus more on that bodily resurrection, and also where he tells his disciples and shows them that he is fulfilling what was written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and the Psalms concerning him. So here's the whole thing summed up, that he died, he was buried, and raised again from the dead, and it's all because of that, what was written of him. And obviously, number one, to pay for the sins of the whole world, to give us the victory. And now we'll talk about his ascension, and now what Christ is doing for us today, his role today as intercessor for us. Again, this went a little bit over, but I had to pack a lot in there. And I hope that you're getting a lot out of this. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thank you.